still at the...
As you walk in front. I think we are delayed, but I believe we are live now. I see myself standing at the camera setting things up, so give it just a minute. So we're just testing, and it's the first time I've used this software combined with YouTube and many other things. So thanks friends for joining me. I do have my laptop over here, and I have my phone over here, so I can kind of keep track of everything. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm not going to do like a formal intro. I think most of you know, since this is just a test, and I think everyone joining, we're all familiar with each other, so we'll roll with it from here. I think everybody who joined is already subscribed, and this channel is not a monetized channel, so no worries. Yay! And hi Shauna, thanks for being first. Hi, you'll beat Heath for sure. And I also made myself a little cheaty sheet for the things I want to talk about, so that I don't get too distracted and then we go off the rails talking about who knows what. So in addition to some of you who've joined, as well as a lot of people who have taken up my offers on various groups, including the Two Crazy Ketos group and our Keto Chow group and all of those other groups, and we've been talking about exercise and how it's been a lot of us who are out there being pretty extreme. It's all too much. Hi Susan, thank you for joining. But yeah, so it's all too much. And Shelly and Heath, so welcome. And just to get rolling on the whole exercise thing, it got me to thinking about how much of a struggle it was before I was keto, and how I got started, and how I was super sick, and how I didn't do anything. I literally, drove myself to work, had to rest in the car so I could walk to the office. Then I sat in my cubicle and drank my coffee because I was already tired. And then I had to get myself, at the end of the day, all the way back to the garage. And then I would come home, and thankful for all of my family and friends, because they basically waited on me. They would give me a glass of water. Would you get me a soda? Would you get my dinner plate? And they did. They did everything, and I did nothing because I literally just could not. And sometimes that's like the gap that we miss. When I see, we're like, great, this exercise is for beginners, and their beginners are at a stage that I could not have done. I'm sorry, I'm not even going to do even half a push-up back then. I like to tell people, trying to walk to the corner down 3 houses was too much, and my kid wanted to go to the park, but really that was something for the spouse to take them, because I couldn't make it there. Or even if I managed to get myself there, it was only so I could just sit on the bench and try and get myself home. So those are what I started thinking about. And for those of you, I know you're familiar with me, now I'm very avidly athletic, and I've made a decision to start getting certified to be a nutrition and fitness coach, and all kinds of stuff, mostly because I think about how hard my own experience has been. So I thought too, we did a lot of stuff. For those of you who are at Ketopalooza, Bronson presented, and he did some great presentations talking about how important form was. He gave some of us some modifications you could do for things that were too hard, and wow, that was really great and empowering. And the number one thing I took from his presentation, though, was to not tell yourself I can't, to tell yourself I'm not there yet. And I thought about how far, even with his modifications, it kept coming back in my brain about how, wow, not only was I not there yet, I wasn't even there to where his beginner, let's try and do a push-up against the wall. Ha! That was not going to happen. And I see some of you here on the chat. I know a lot of times we repeat out the chats, but there's not that many of us, so if I see a specific question, I'm going to bring it up. But yeah, total validation. I see your stories, and yeah, here we are. And so what I thought would be good tonight is to take it even further back from that stage where he was taking us at Keto Palooza, and show you some stuff to do when you're really mobility limited. My official disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. I haven't finished my fitness instructor. The only thing that I have done is really dive in and educate myself. I've worked with my personal medical professionals. I've had some physical therapy, you know, my neurologist, my cardiologist, you know, my own personal fitness trainer. All of those have been on. And yes, Shauna, there is music in the background. Because I pay for YouTube Premium, one of the options they had was for me to use my playlist. If it's distracting, let me know and we'll turn it off. But I just thought it was nice, and I really love Caravan Palace and all of the songs that go with it. So let me know if that's not good, because that's an easy switch to turn. If you like swing, or well, electric swing, because it's the modern version, that's what that is. It's Caravan Palace. Sure. Can you go ahead? I do have someone helping me, so if you can just go ahead and just turn it off. It says it's a little loud. So, but yeah, so I think about if someone had told me some of these things back then when I was pretty much chair-bound, it would have been a nicer start than people who told me I just needed to give it my all and keep trying, and all of those things are true, but it's so, to me, demoralizing when I couldn't. And not just telling myself I couldn't, but physical pain, the agony from my arthritis, the fact that I was still, you know, dealing with the emotional trauma from my cancer and all of that. I don't know how to tell you that someone telling me to do, oh, you can't do 10 push-ups, just do one, was, it was not a good mental space. So let me know if you want to do anything else, but I'm going to tell you the first one, and the whole, with one exception at the very end, which is going to be the hardest part. I'm going to show you 6 exercises, and then I'm going to tell you some other tools to work along with starting to get fit. The first one, we're doing everything sitting down, and I have a bench, but you don't have to have a bench. Actually, if you're just starting out, your kitchen chair with arms is going to be the best for you. You don't need anything special. You don't need equipment. I have equipment. Maybe further down the road, that'll be nice to have, but you don't need it. And the first thing we're going to do there, it's called arms across. And you take your arms and you bring one and you put it across your chest. When you first start, you may not get all the way across your chest. Maybe you're only going to get to here. Maybe only to here. But you're going to reach across and you're going to get a hold of your wrist. Or if you're only to here, you're going to reach with both arms. But you're going to get here and you're going to give your wrist a good firm pressing. And what that's going to do is you're going to feel that. You're going to feel that tug and you're going to hold it. You're going to feel that up here in your bicep. up here in your shoulder and your neck area, and it's going to pull that stiffness. And you hold it and you count to 5, and if that's too hard, you count to 2 and you let it rest. And then you do the other direction. This one's actually still quite hard for me because I had actually hurt my arm many years ago, and it still gets pretty stiff. And also I have Raynaud's syndrome and rheumatoid arthritis. So even with me being athletic now, this is one of those things that it still really helps. It also helps if you work at a computer all day and you tend to get that stress. Because that helps loosen all of the tension. It's good. It's the kind of nice stretching just to get your mind clear, to get things moving. So you can do those repeatedly. And so that was one. And really, if that's enough, and you were really in pain, and that was strenuous on your biceps, then that's enough. What you want to do is over time work your way up to where you do that in sets of 10. But again, one time, and that's your great first step. That's it. That's plenty. And the next time, maybe you do 2. But that's where you're at. So after that, it gets a little more exciting. The next thing is just your regular old side twist. And I'm sure you've seen these on TV, and like Richard Simmons, who's like, I love Richard Simmons. And if you're interested in something, a fun little podcast, I have subscribed to one called Where is Richard Simmons? Because he like just disappeared off the face of the earth. And really what he has done is he's taken a step back out of the limelight, so he doesn't do a lot of public interviews. If you are not old enough to remember Richard Simmons, you should know he was like this incredible, empowering, beautiful person. And he actually was also at one point in time a really a heavy person, and just he did all of the things that we talk about now, about persevering and working through until he got there. But his heart never forgot where he came from. So his focus was on people who weren't ready for all of the workouts, all of the things. And that's why he did like dancing and fun stuff, and said, hey, if you can't do it, just do this little piece, or just do this part. It was awesome. Also, was he not the most fabulous? I'm just looking. Oh, yeah. It's awesome. I can't say enough great things about Richard Simmons. I know that's not necessarily a cool thing to totally love him anymore, but I totally love Richard Simmons. He was the best. But the second exercise for you, if you are struggling with your mobility and getting moving and you want to get moving, is your side twist. And we're going to do them not standing up, but still staying seated in our chair. If you are in a wheelchair, you can do these. So you just put your arms out straight and level, and you bring one forward, and then you twist to the side. You keep your arms at that 90 degrees. And if that hurts too much, because it'll hurt right here, right down your side, right on your core, that's where it's going to work. When you do that 90-degree twist. Hey, Boulder, Pennsylvania, good to see you here. See, I'm going to whine, and these are supposed to be easy exercises. No, it's hurting my side. But then you have this nice 90-degree angle, and guess what? You just do it the other direction, and then you twist. And then you say, that's enough of this bullshit for a while, and you're going to sit and you're going to take a drink, and you'd be like, Meitreya told me that was easy. What a liar. Hey, Carrie, nice to see you again. Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only person who remembers sweating to the oldies. It was so fun and so fantastic. So, and I'm a bad friend. I'm not using my Keto Chow mug because my Keto Chows don't have the straw. This is just your generic Costco, $17 for a 2-pack. But it does have electrolytes. So again, I'll just show you that twist again. I don't even know if you guys care about my exercise or not, but I'm doing it because it feels good. You do your sides, you put your arm forward, you make a 90-degree angle, and you twist. And then you do it, and you bring your arm to the 90-degree angles, and you twist. And always you should be sitting in your good posture, and keeping everything nice and straight. If you slouch, you're not going to have the benefit of working your core. So, yeah, you definitely feel it. You feel it all up and down. As Shauna was mentioning that she can feel it and doing some of these types of things. The other one, again, still seated. And if you notice, I'm leaning over. I'm still blind, even with my glasses. Got my laptop here so I can see the chat, but I have to lean in to read the little letters. Yep. Even without the twist, you're feeling that stretching in there, and that's fine too. If you're feeling it and it's giving you some tension and you're feeling it working out, hold off on the twisting part and focus on keeping your arms good and steady. But you definitely want to work up to doing those twists. And then, just because I like being mean, the next part are those twists that they tell you about all the time. But usually they do them standing up, and they try to add like stretching your legs and doing all these other things, and it's just altogether too much. But your vertical twist, that's where you're gonna bring one hand out and one hand up, and you just lean. Oh, you lean to the side. Yes, you pull that core, and that's what you're gonna do. And you know, they have you sometimes, when they're a bit more, they have you like reaching to the floor and touching your toes, and we're not there yet. We're not there yet for a long time, because that is that's way out there. We're at this beginner. We're at the beginner level, and we're where it feels good and where we can get moving. And again, your hand to the side, one arm up, and you just lean over. And like I said, because I have a bench, I can go a little bit further. But you really don't want to, not if you're mobility impaired, and that's why I said your kitchen chair with the arms, because that's only going to let you go this far with your stretch, right? And that's what you're going to want to get, because you're still going to be getting that stretch all through your core, all up and down your side. It'll stretch your lower back, work through your sciatic. I know when I was heavier and when I had a lot of my mobility issues, the sciatica nerve had a lot of pressure. So if I had known that I could do something like that, it would have helped a lot. You're right, Heath, they are very similar to DDPY. They're not exactly the same, but they are similar. And I know I whine a lot about yoga, because I don't like it. Hurts. So, you know, but it is actually really fantastic for you. People don't talk about yoga enough in the right capacity, because they talk about it in terms of flexibility and things like that. And it is all those things, but what they also don't tell you is that it is a superior cardio workout. It is so good for your heart. And so it's one of those things, like when I make my jokes about like being made to do my push-ups or things like that, honestly, you should do your yoga. I'm a big fan of the DDPY, even though I like to rag on yoga, because he does all of those things, and he really caters to people who aren't ready for that elevated exercise. So you can actually get through it, and you can actually benefit your body. So, yeah. So they are very similar. And then I'm going to tell you the next one I have, because now that we've done a whole bunch of upper body work, we're going to work down here. Yep, you're right. Shauna mentions that it used to mean folding and twisting, and yeah, so and it does, and you see like those advanced yoga people, and they're doing like all of those crazy movements and stances, and wow, wouldn't that be amazing? Let me tell you, I'm definitely not there, but kudos for that kind of flexibility, right? It's one of the reasons that even though I hate it and I will whine the entire time, the yoga is really good because, as you recall, I'm very avid about my cycling, and I would like to do only cycling, but that actually does make your muscles and your tendons really stiffen up. 55 minutes. Whew. Yeah, that would be a tough yoga for those of you who are just listening in. Heath mentions, because he's been doing the DDPY, and he started right with the very beginning, and he's been working through the program for a long time now. And he just mentioned that he did a 55-minute It's Not Your Mama's Yoga. I love that title. I also think that's one of the good things about Diamond Dave's yoga program, is that he brings it down and makes it fun and entertaining and slightly less intensely serious feeling, even though all of the movements are there. So down on the floor with your feet, we're still sitting down, and I don't know. I tried to get so you could see everything, but this is such a subtle movement. I don't know if you'll see it in the video, but they're just toe lifts. So you sit with your legs parallel and slightly apart, and all you do is you lift your toes up, not your heels, your toes. And you just bring them up slow. You're only an inch or two off the ground, and if you can't get quite that far, maybe it's a little less, but you bring them up off the floor, and you hold it, and you keep holding it, and you say some swears, because it's going to pull on your calf, and it's going to pull on your Achilles tendon, and then you put your toes, you let them down slow. You have to put them down slow. I'm going to say downward dog is maybe it sounds like a relaxing pose, but it always makes me chuckle because it sounds so dirty. Oh, you knew you came here and that was going to be the content, right? So, but yeah, it is a good stretching pose, especially the downward dog in yoga is really great on your back for stretching out. But yeah, those toe lifts seem like such a little movement. You're just slowly picking up your toes, and then slowly putting your toes down. And that gives you that workout right back here in your calves, and you'll feel it. Way more advanced take on that. We're not going to do that here, but just because I feel like running my mouth, and I can do that today. A lot of people who are more athletic and trying to get that stretch, they actually stand like on the edge of one of those step devices, or the edge of a chair with just the tippies of their toes, and then they lean downward instead of going upwards, and it's a very similar stretch, but oh my God. And then you have to try and bring yourself up. Whew. Yeah, I'm going to sit down. That's right, it is my channel. I'll say what I want. No. But yeah, so those toe lifts seem so innocuous, and yet they are actually so good. And actually, I keep talking about the calves, but weirdly, it works the top of your thighs too. So, because you'll feel it just a little teeny stretch and twist right in the top of your thighs. Oh. Yeah, we do weight training here too, and that's another one where I do a lot of my weight training with Body Fit by Amy, and we'll maybe talk about some of that another day, because as you can see, I have my kettlebells behind me and some dumbbells. And for those of you who have been to Ketopalooza and done Zumba with Autumn, next time we can kick it up a notch there. I have my little Zumba barbells, so I try not to do a lot of Zumba because it makes me very sweaty. But you do what you got to do, right? So now we get into some more challenging exercise. And a coffee pot, you know what? Picking up the coffee pot is still lifting, right? So you go, Shauna. I'm in favor of coffee pot lifting, especially if it is putting coffee into my cup. So one more exercise is lifting your leg. Now instead of just your toes, your whole leg. You lift it up. Maybe if it's your first time, it becomes a challenge. Have your feet off the floor and lift your leg up. Just lift it a little bit, maybe an inch off the floor. Maybe if you were my shape when I was at my heaviest, my stomach would come out over here. I was not lifting my leg more than I absolutely had to, because there was no space because my stomach was holding it down. And that's okay. That's why you only do a little bit. And if you can't lift your leg, get your hands down in here and pick up your leg. Yeah, guess what? That works out your arms again. As if it wasn't hard enough that we already did a bunch of arm stuff, right? But you pick up your leg. It helps start training and conditioning your muscle. You actually do still feel things. Like, what? Why? I'm holding my leg with my arms, and yet for some reason I'm still feeling a little quiveriness in my thigh and down toward my feet. So yeah, there's value. I will tell you, this is definitely a mobility thing that I learned with taking a class with some friends who are in wheelchairs. Many years ago. They do that to help keep some feeling and sensation and things in their legs when they have that. So yeah, well, you can grab by the side, and if you can lift it a little bit, lift it. But again, any of these that you're not ready to do or you can't do yet, at some point in the future you might be able to, and you will, but it does take time. Sometimes people act like you're going to do this for a week and then next week you're going to kick it up a notch, and that's not true. It takes a lot longer than that. But yeah, so you bring up the next one, and again, like I said, if you look, you can only do like an inch off the ground. That's an inch off the ground, and that's more than you had to do. So it's a leg lift. So toes and leg lifts. Those are the two biggie. The leg lift is one of the hardest ones, and most people can't do them right off the bat, and that's okay. So yeah, LP, I love kettlebells too, but I also love complaining and swearing at Amy as she makes me do more exercises. That'll be awesome when you're ready to start picking them up again. Make sure you start small. Just use like this little 5-pound kettlebell. See, that's why I kept my notes. Remember, see how I said I was prone to distracted? Yes. Now I'm all off the rails. But even when you start getting ready, people think they have to start with big heavy weights, start with no weights, and then get yourself some little 2-pounders, and get yourself a little 3-pounders, then these little 5-pound babies, and yeah, you are good to go. So, and the last thing is something that you're going to have to do once in a while, no matter what. No matter what. You're going to have to do it eventually. And that's the reason I said you need a kitchen chair or a chair that has your arms. because the last thing to do, the last part of this for limited mobility is only if you are not wheelchair bound. Yeah, 8 kilograms is it's no slouch, definitely. That's going to be exciting. You'll have to share with us when you are to the stage where you're picking it back up. We'll have a nice little celebration, throw some virtual confetti, eat us some keto chow ice cream. Wow. But yeah, right? Yeah, water bottles are a great idea as a place to start. Okay, really, I'm going to do the last one, and that is standing up. That's it. Just stand up, and then sit back down. And if you can't stand up under your own power, which I can tell you 5 years ago, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Put your hands on those arms and give yourself an assist, and then stand up. But yeah. So, but we have to learn how to stand up, because you have to get up and go to the bathroom eventually. You have to, those are all things that we work towards and we strive towards. So that last exercise, there you go, standing up. And you see, like, even right now, I'm tired and I've been a cranky bear all week. So, if you need some help with your balance, put your hands lightly on your thighs, and that'll help you. Once you don't need those arms anymore to push yourself up. And eventually, way, way down the line, you'll be able to put your arms down by your side and then just stand. But again, that's not something that's an easy accomplishment. Go, Shauna. I know you can stand up because I saw you do it. I'll tell you, when we saw you at Ketopalooza and you did all that walking and your leg was hurt, all I could think of was how much I wanted to boss you around and tell you, girl, sit down. Just sit down. But you were awesome. Such an inspiration and so incredible. Man, you did so much. It was awesome. And you walked with us to that restaurant. I was like, when we were walking, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, are we ever fucking getting there? Sorry for the F-bomb, if that bothers you, I'm sorry. But really, that was what I felt. It was so long. And I know it didn't seem that far, but I was feeling like I wanted food, and we were being held back by the long walk. Yeah, so, huge accomplishment. Yeah, it is. And it's empowering, right? When the first time that you're able to get up like that, oh my gosh, it's incredible to me. If you aren't reading along in the chat, our good friend the warden mentioned that standing up is really quite an accomplishment when you're mobility impaired, and that he, during his MS journey, at one point that was scary because during one of his attacks, standing up was unstable. It's one of those things that can happen. I can tell you that when my spouse, who has MS, at one point lost feeling from the waist down, and so while up and moving about and using a cane and everything, I did think to myself, like, holy crap, since he has no feeling, what happens if there's a fall? Holy crap, a fall. Because you literally, if you don't have the feeling or the sensation, you're no longer working on your rote memory. You actually have to think like, okay, I'm going to stand up, and now I need to look at my leg and make sure that I am standing up. And I need to make sure that I put my weight on this cane so that I am actually walking around and moving. I don't know that the thought process through all of that little things were working at the time, but wow, yeah, that was something else. I'm really glad that it was something that was a short-term thing that happened. So, all back to quote-unquote normal now, but yeah, those are some things that, and that's why I wanted to chat about this, because it's been in my mind and it's been like eating at me. And yeah, oh, yeah, that's exactly right. The warden mentions, yeah, when I said I don't know what we would do, the warden is right. You have to call for the bus to come and pick them up, which is no fun. And it's no fun for anybody all around, plus just the simple absolute risk of serious injury. So, yeah, that's all of this is why I've been talking about all of this, and all of this has been bugging me for like months and months and months, and probably a couple years actually, because I'm in a lot of the groups. I'm in with groups where they say they understand, but I feel like they don't. And sometimes I think that we forget what it was like. So I don't want to ever get to that place where I forget what it was like. I want to keep other people in the circle, in the loop, remembering and helping each other, so that we help each other. And I think that's where things like this, and how we have made our nice little family where we talk about what we eat. Oh, that's right, drop foot and your right driving foot. That is terrible. Heath mentions that he got that right after my brain surgery. Well, during my brain surgery, I had 3 strokes, and I did also develop a weakness in my right side. And for the longest time, they told me that was going to forever be a problem. And I can tell you that some days I say I'm having a bad day because everything feels really heavy over there, and I can't just override it with my stubbornness. But yeah, between that and the seizures is the #1 reason that they revoked my license. First of all, if you have a seizure, and your doctor finds out that you had a seizure, they immediately have to report it to the DMV to revoke your license. But more importantly is the minute they hear that you've had a stroke with any sort of impairment, they absolutely want to revoke your license, because they feel, and they're not wrong. I may not like it, but they're not wrong. You no longer have the control of your body to properly operate a vehicle. And I will tell you that I did illegally operate my vehicle, and probably it was a really stupid decision on my part. So don't do that. Hey Rhonda, awesome to see you, but now you've missed all the exercise. So just so you know, we all got together and dropped and did 20 push-ups, Bronson style, and put weights on our back, so it's your turn. I'm just joking. We're chatting now. But yeah, so yeah. So, and OP mentions that he lives in a community where they've got older people, and sometimes he sees women who in their 80s and 90s who have managed to stay active and still do all their things a couple times a week. Yeah, that's amazing. I hope that that is me someday. That would be so fantastic. I want to be a badass old lady on my bicycle, riding in the road, flipping off people in the cars because they drove too close to me. That is a goal. So that is everything I had in terms of movement tonight. So to round up the rest of what I wanted to talk about too is I mentioned at the beginning where people tell us, oh, just muscle through it and just do it. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Yeah, at some point I'll do a video with my story. When I made this channel, it was because the only other channel I have is for stagnant video, and it's crochet lessons. So all you see is my little fingers and some yarn and me talking real slow, telling people how to crochet. So I didn't want to try and blend things together. because I felt like that would take away from the crochet tutorials, and also not give us our little family time here where we talked about this. But I said this would be a nice little slice of life type of channel. So sure, sometime I'll share my story. I might do some things where we do some crafty fun. Absolutely going to share when we do some work on some of our cosplay. Maybe, you know, some of our guild can get together and we're going to do something so badass for January. I cannot wait to share it with you guys. It's going to be so exciting. Sadly, I don't know who else went to, oh, Rhonda, you went to see Venom. Can I tell you, I am a huge Venom fan. I love Venom, but why? Why do they keep fucking up the movies? I don't understand. It's such an awesome story. It's such a great story. And the movies, as much as I love Woody Harrelson, and I said he was a perfect Carnage, he was the perfect cast, and yet the movie was so terrible. Why? Why? See? And this is why I made my little card to keep me on track, because I'm not even keeping on track with my notes telling me what to say. So, the nice things that the next parts that aren't movement related is to remember to be good to yourself. As hokey as it sounds, because, you know, Saturday Night Live made fun of it forever. Give yourself affirmations. Remind yourself that you are just fucking killing it. Man, we are all in there trying. We are doing our best. Man, we are keeping up. We have made huge, enormous lifestyle changes to better our health. And we see a lot of people who have already achieved some incredible success, and they're so far down the road in our journey. Those are things that everybody has to look forward to, and everybody is in progress, and we've already seen so many of us with so many improvements. You're amazing, so remember to tell yourself that you are amazing, and you are just rocking it 100%. Venom is well, Carnage came from Venom, so that is where that comes from. All of Venom actually produces several parasites in his lineage. So there's some interesting things. Maybe one time we'll do a whole talk and I'll walk you guys through all of the symbiotes. That'll be a real prideful nerd moment for me. I'll make a PowerPoint. So, but yeah. So the next thing is any of those exercises that you're not ready for, or if somebody tells you fitness is not for you, or you just need to try, forget it. Only do what you can do. Do what is your comfort, and fuck the rest. That's what you do. And if all you can do today is put on your workout outfit, and that was a lot of work because it's stretchy and it's uncomfortable and it's outside your zone, well, then that's what you did today, and that rocks. That fucking awesome. You showed up, and that is the first step. Oh, I still think you should watch it. Absolutely. Just because I'm a whiner about it, 100% I will go and see every movie, and even when I complain that the movies are bad, I love them all. I watch bad movies. I adore bad movies. The worse they are, the more I love them, which is why we watch the stupid crap like Santa Jaws. If you ever watch spaghetti westerns, the worst one ever, oh my god, is called The Handsome Stranger. It's a spaghetti western starring I kid you not, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's hilarious. It's so bad. Oh, it's the worst. And yet I can't stop from watching it. Yeah, you absolutely did not fail, Shauna. 100%. You just aren't there in that moment. And maybe someday you will be, and maybe another day you won't. But, and that's okay. Emotionally, that's hard because I know that, I assume, maybe I shouldn't assume, maybe some of you don't like him, but I love Bronson. I think he is the bee's knees. He is just awesome. And so I want to support him, but his workouts aren't for me. I'll have to find another way to support him. Maybe he'll get around to properly monetizing his YouTube, and I can throw him some dollars. His workouts are intense for me, even his beginner ones. So I'm not there yet, and they're simply not my cake. But he's my cake. Man, I love how passionate he is. I love it. And I love how encouraging he is. And I love how he has dove right into our community and joined in. And I think he is just awesome. I love him to pieces. So, yeah, don't ever feel like committed to that canceling a subscription to a workout is a personal thing. It's not a statement. It's where you are right now, and we all have to do the things that work best for us. Yeah, exactly. And he did reach out to make sure that everything was okay. That's incredible, and that is what makes him a beautiful person, and that is what makes him part of our lovely family. And absolutely, I just figured that my way of supporting will have to be like, maybe next time we're at an event, we'll have to buy him some dinner, or, you know, maybe as a courtesy, I'll do a couple push-ups, even though they make me cry a little bit on the inside. Maybe not, but we'll see. Oh, and like I did at the beginning, even though it turned out to not work for the live stream, when you're on your own and you're doing stuff, put yourself a playlist together on whatever place you like to listen to your music. Doesn't matter what kind of music it is, if it's popular music or if other people like it, because it's for you. And music is a personal connection. Absolutely, that is what you need. Do your own music, and when you get into the groove with your own music, you will feel so good, and it helps uplift you to get into that, and it puts you in the mindset of doing, especially if you have stuff that motivates you, not just physically. A lot of stuff is mental for your motivation. Yeah, when what Susan's saying right now is spot on. He wants you to find your way to get the 7 functional movements. I love his YouTube videos. I'm excited that he's going to do them on the regular. I think that is just the best. So, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great way to support him. And I'm sure. And if I come up with other things or other inventive ideas for us, I'll definitely put those out there. Well, listen, he can eat a lot of meat, but he put out that challenge. Oh, who can eat more meat than me? And especially, you know, he and Rachel were joking around. But just as a reminder, Chris Bear and myself were there at the table eating meat before he even arrived. And we were both sitting there eating meat, asking for more ribeye, while Bronson had already thrown in the towel. So we got this. We'll just take out a small loan for all of us to go out and eat meat. That's going to be the way. Especially if we get into the ribeyes. Delicious. So that is my rant for today, my geek moments. And I know I strayed a lot, but I think we also have some good conversation going. What else do other people here have that you might want to talk about? I like the idea of maybe I should actually tell my story. I'm going to reach over here and pull this closer, even though it will now pull it on the screen. That's all right. You can see my laptop. It's not like it's there's anything wrong with it. So, yeah. Yeah, when you have that mental block, or when you don't feel good about what you're doing, that actually makes it like 100 times harder just to do anything. And that's not just exercise, that's anything and everything. I'll tell you, if I get in a mood, it is just awful. I can't do the basic of thing, you know. Some days it's like a slog through work because someone will say something in the morning that just pisses me off, and then like the rest of the day I'm trying to do my work. I'm going to eventually get it done, but it takes me a little bit longer because I disrupt myself partway through, going back to going like, oh, I can't believe he said that in that meeting. Oh. Just, you know, and I'm sure, I know I rub people the wrong way at the office too, because I am very blunt. One of the reasons that I am successful in my industry is because when I started, I came in and I told them, we were in a meeting one day and they were like, some people have said, we think we should get a new tool for resource management. And I didn't mean to, but it just, I don't really have a good filter, and I don't really have a good ability to keep my mouth shut sometimes when I should. And I was new, and I couldn't believe that there was a director in there, but they said this, and I said, why would we waste that kind of money? We don't even use the tools we have now. Why don't we just make people actually use the equipment they have now? And then I realized that I had blurted that out loud in the meeting in front of a VP and a director and several other people. And I covered my mouth and went, oops, did I say that out loud to try and give it a little levity? And fortunately, the director burst out laughing, and they said, that is why we hired you. We love your aggressive personality. So there we go. Yeah, you're right. OP, breath training is awesome. I know we've done, I actually have, and I know that HRV, your heart rate variability, is not that important because of the activity and where a lot of us are in our journeys. And it doesn't add a lot of value, but once you're further along, or if you have health issues, but the HRV app that I have, and I'll share more on that later, actually has a breathing program, and I think I'm going to buy the equipment to do it because it looks pretty amazing. And I've done a breathing program with the cancer center that I go to, the James here at OSU. And it's definitely great. Not only was it great for my cardiovascular system, but it actually seemed to mellow me out just a little bit in the stress department. Actually, no, my spouse is not doing MS because, not doing keto for MS, although it has been a massive benefit. Keto in my household was started because of me. And when we do that YouTube with my story in it, basically because I had brain surgery and I was having seizures and I wasn't getting better and the medicine wasn't working, I can tell you guys, I was so low. It was so low. Honestly, the cancer may as well have just stayed there and taken me out for how low I was at that time. And I did crap for anything. I didn't do any of the things they told me to do. I just, everything sucked and everything was awful. And they had already recommended keto to me, and I was interested in, I was a foodie, we ate out, I didn't have to stand up to make bread in my kitchen. So, they could wheel me right in a big old chair and I could do all the things. And so, we were ordering out, and I had to go to an appointment at the Cleveland Clinic as follow-up, and you could have knocked me over with a feather, because not only was my cardiologist from the Cleveland Clinic there, my neurologist from OSU was there, and they are people who do not cross streams normally. And they were mad. Whew, they were mad. And normally you don't think about doctors as being mad. Normally they don't treat their patients like that. They came in with my papers and they said, you were part of this study. We did a radical procedure, brand new. You were one of the first of 8 people in the country to get this procedure, and you're not even trying. Did we just waste millions of dollars on you? Talk about kicking me while I was down. And they basically threw down like a folder full of my papers, and they said, look at these, look at this. We can see you're not doing anything that we told you to do. So, and they told me, get with the program, do it, and tell us right now if you're not going to, because we're not going to waste our time and money. And honestly, when I left, I managed to get myself home, and I came home and I told my spouse, because I thought I was going to get sympathy for, like, how dare those doctors treat me that way. Can you believe how they talked to me? So fired. And instead, my spouse said, hey, guess what we're doing then? No, you're not just going to give up and die on me. And they cleared out the house of all of the foods I wasn't supposed to have, and they said, well, here we are doing keto. And so here we are doing keto. So there you go. That's the intense part of my story. There's a preview. Oh. Yeah, it is good when you're validated at the office. I love that part. I especially like when I'm right, and not so much when I'm wrong. So, yep. The other thing, oh, that's an awesome referral to think of Dr. Berry for diverticulitis. I don't know that I would have thought about that, but I'm going to keep that in mind in the future, because it seems like every few months someone in my list will tell me that they've got diverticulitis, and they ask me if I've heard of it or if I know things, because they know I'm keto and I'm not exactly shy about my opinions. So I always tell them I don't know enough about it to really be useful, but I tell them that I think keto I honestly think keto would be helpful, because from what I do know of diverticulitis, it already eliminates all of the things that they shouldn't be eating. So, yeah. Seems like a win-win for me, to me. So, yeah, OP, I couldn't be more grateful that they, at the time I was really mad though, because they sided with the doctors who were just utterly mean to me. Oh yeah, you could definitely do, there are vegetarian keto plans. Keith, I love to make that joke. I said that to my boss like last week. I thought I was wrong once, but turns out I was simply mistaken. Oh, the look I got, because we were on webcams. Oh, it was the best. I really dig that buttermail, but I cut the mustard way back because the first time that I followed the recipe from Diet Doctor, and then I tried it again from Joe because he used the same amount of mustard. Honestly, it just tasted like super mustardy deviled egg middle to me, and it was too much. So I backed it down. Instead of a tablespoon, I only use a teaspoon, and so it's still mustardy, but it to me is a little more mayonnaise-y. Also, because that I'm not doing the BBBE anymore. Christy Davis put in a little bit of MCT oil into the buttermail recipe, and when you do that, it doesn't solidify anymore, so you actually retain that mayonnaise texture, and I really dig that. So I might have to make a batch. Yeah. Oh, I like the idea of the whole grain deli mustard. I used a spicy brown, and that was good. I didn't really care for the Dijon mustard in it. It was too, I don't know what the word is, but if you don't care for the Dijon mustard, and usually I do with like a good sausage, but it was just too, I don't know what the right word is, but you know what I mean. If you've got that strong Dijon mustardy taste in your mouth, it was just a little bit too much. Oh, I bet it would be good in eggs. Oh man, diverticulitis and no gallbladder. Whew, that's going to be so hard. But when they get everything under control, I bet they will feel so much better. Oh, I don't know if I could. I don't know how I would do it, but I'm sure, you know. I said it out back when I felt like crap and I was not going to be compliant until I was utterly, completely forced, but yeah. What a struggle that's going to be. I don't know. Pungent, yes. Dijon mustard is very pungent. Stinky and tart. It tastes very pungent on the palate. It's a weird word, but if you know, you know. I think it might be one of those weird super taster things. Like, you know, people who don't like cilantro because it tastes like soap. I don't like Dijon mustard because it tastes stinky and overly strong. I think that says something if it tastes overly strong to someone like me who eats stupid hot things all the time. So, anyways, we are just over an hour, and I do love chatting with everyone, but I feel like for the first go round of doing the live here, it's pretty good. Plus, there's work tomorrow, and I've got to go and prep some ice creams for tomorrow for my meals, and get some stuff done for my kid who's doing apartment hunting. Yeah. Oh, it's called Unraveled Sheep. So I'll put that out at some point. So and we'll get that, and I'll be willing to share that. So lunch, English, and history. History. Oh no. I mean, of course, you know, now you know, my name is Radical Geek, so I was fond of math. I love math and spreadsheets. So, yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming and joining me for this like first test, because I know it's just on the fly. But once they set everything right again, I was excited to test it out and make sure I could do it. Yeah, I'm not even worried about it. Mostly I started this because I wanted to be able to chat with you guys whenever I felt like it. And I just like, you know, I like to chat and I like going on about my bullshit whenever I feel like it. So, but pretty sure that what I'm going to try doing more frequently though is probably Saturday mornings. And I know that's not a great time for a lot of people, so that's okay. We'll do some on the evenings too, once in a while. But Saturday mornings, I like it because that's when I'm going to do my bike ride. And you guys can do like mean things to me. Maybe we'll do fun stuff where you make me do horrible, awful trial things or fun stuff like that. All right? All right, good night, everyone. I'm going to end the stream now. Yep, bye-bye.